back to Shane's Hot Rods and Projects. We're starting a new process, a new procedure on the, another step, whatever you want to say. Another step, we're moving into the next thing here on the 63. We are moving to the rear end. Disc brakes on the rear end. Alright, I've already done one side, just to kind of figure out how it's doing. I will show you a few things on the next few steps on how this looks. I'll show you what we got on this side so far. Alright, there we go. And remember I told you that we ordered the wrong ones. This one has emergency brake. We got to order the kit, the brake, emergency brake cable kit. We still need our rubber lines. We go from here to the rear end, then we're going to weld a bracket on there, and then run hard line to here. And then the body line, the rubber line mounts from here to the rear end. So that's what we got going on. They look good. What I like about these calibers have got a coating on them. We don't have to worry about painting them. The other calibers you have to paint. They were raw. So I like that. Or at least that looks like a coating on them. I got baby powder on my hands from the gloves. But yeah. So I like that. Here's putting the brackets on. This is your original backing plate, and you have a spacer that goes in between. You have to knock the original T-bolts out. Once you knock them out, you put their provided hardware in, and then this bracket here, we had to tap on. You just had to gently tap it down over the bearing, and it goes on. And then this bracket takes a whole bunch of spacers and mounts right there. Just like that. Well, see, we won't even go through it yet, that's the spacers. That's how that works. It takes 3 spacers, 2 1/4-inch spacers and 1 1/8-inch spacer on each side. These bolts here, you think they won't go in, but if you leave everything off of it and leave it loose to the back, leave the back plate loose, and you just set them in there with a, just set them in there. So that one goes in good. This one here, that one goes in good. That's what I say. If you just leave them loose, you may have to tap them a little bit over the. They just barely get hung, but they will go in. You just got to tap them, and then you have there's your 3 spacers: 1/4-inch, 1/4-inch, 1/8-inch. And that I put the small one in between the 2 big ones. I don't know why. It's just what I want to do. And put your bracket against it. You set your bracket against it like that, bolt it up. And there's my bracket mounted. I've left this all loose. I'm going to snug it up a little bit and then put my rotor on. Make sure everything fits before I cinch it down. Hey, welcome to Shane's Hot Rods and Projects. We are working on the rear end today. We got all the brake parts. Speedway, he really likes dealing with Speedway automotive Speedway parts. We got in the last video we put the brakes on. Now we have all the lines and U-bolts, the blocks to put the rear end together. Right now he's trying to get the exhaust. We had it laid on the other side and realized that we had to drop the spring back down and pull the exhaust back over and tailpipes back on this side. Working on that now. Walk y'all around and see what we got. Alright, thanks to some good friends, we had some blocks. Some blocks they give us to let us try out. Hopefully they'll work. The 3-inch blocks, we're hoping it's enough. We don't want to go too much more. And then we went to our local parts store and got some U-bolts. So here's some of our brake parts, which is really nice. You just call it Speedway, tell them what you got and what you're doing with the brake setup, and you get everything you need. It even comes with a little brake clip, a big brake clip that holds it to the car, or secures it to the bracket. So that's nice. So that's what we're working on here. We're going in. We got to put these pads in because these rear ends have a bigger locating hole. The hole on the spring purchase. See how much bigger that is? That. Put these on top of that. So we got to get them in the rear end. And they're not wanting to go. You can see where they're catching the edge of the housing. So I think we'll grind them down and see if we can get them to fit. Alright, he's took the wire brush and we're cutting the coating off of the, see right here, that maybe we can get it up in the spring. So that's what we're doing now. Yeah, I can really see like me. Oh, perfect. Fell right in the hole. Awesome. Alright. These bolts are in. Now we're hoping the little rubber spacer in between the spring perch and the block is not going to cause an issue. That right there. That's a rubber piece. Never done this before, but we're going to try it out and see how it does. Hopefully it don't cause issues in the wrong one. So, there we go. She's already stuffed the rear end up in there pretty good. If you sit back and look at it. So she's going to definitely be low. We might even have to go to a different size block. So we'll find out. Okay, we went shock hunting. We had to buy some new shocks. KBYs too. Gonna be nice shocks. We'll get them tomorrow. So we're starting on the emergency brake cable kit because we ordered a set of brake hoses. Actually, no, we didn't order it. Dad's gonna go pick them up this evening or tomorrow morning because the cables, the lines we bought, they sent are too long. They're for the front. I mean, you look at the part number, you pull them up, they're for the front. They're too long. So we ordered some smaller ones. So we're gonna get started on these cables here. And we gotta figure out how it's gonna go in the hole. We have to take the nut off. You take that nut off, and how's it going? You slide the cable up through there. Okay, go in. You can go in from the bottom to the top. You gotta get the nut in there with the spring out. And then we gotta get that spring back in because you have to slide that sideways.
We're going to need 2 wrenches. We'll need a 5/8.
5/8. Alright, I'll show y'all when we get it together.
9/16.
You see how the spring has to come off? Well, and then we'll have to put the spring back in there. Okay. Alright, we learned that we just leave the cable down, used to open, closed in, boxed in, and tighten her up. Yeah. Now the fun part's gonna be getting the spring on. Alright, let's get this. No, I guess aluminum, wasn't it? Wasn't that aluminum? Wasn't that part there aluminum? I don't want to cramp down it. Okay, that's good. That's good. Because we don't tighten it too much because it's aluminum with a steel nylon nut.
Which way did that go?
That goes up top, up here. Wait a minute. Okay. You got to pull that cable all the way out. See how he's had to pull it out so you can get it in there, and now you got to work the spring in. Yeah. Good times. I wouldn't worry about the cable. I'd just get the spring in, wouldn't you?
Can you do that? The cable's got to go in.
All right, people. I'm gonna have to help him.
Then I can get to the other end of the cable.
All right, hold it. All right, I gotta help him. I'll pull it. I gotta help. All right, now that we have the brake lines secure in here, we have to pull the cable back out because we have to cut the liner to fit in these adjusters right here that I just put in. I wish I would have showed them to you before I put them in there, but I didn't think about it. So they're gonna go in the factory holes. See there? Get an idea of that. All right, this is a universal cable kit, but I think it's gonna work out nicely. As it will go in the factory locations right there. And then it runs up, once you cut it, it runs up to this area right here. Right there. And it goes in that, both cables will hook into that hole. And there we go. And that goes to the foot pedal. This part goes to the foot pedal inside the car. But we have to cut the liners. You see it comes all the way up to here. So now I'm gonna cut them with a sawzall, with a cutting wheel. And we gotta get the cable out of the way, and then we'll cut the cable to fit the top part. All right, I cut the sheet, the sleeve on this emergency brake cable. It's a universal, so you got to cut it to fit your car. That went there. And what you do is you just pull all the cable out of your caliper this way. Just keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. Till you, I made a mark on the end. I made a mark on the end of my cable, sticking out of here, kind of like how it's sticking out right here. I just went and put a mark, which it would have been on this cable. I put a mark, pulled it all the way back till the mark come up to here. Still had about 12 or 13 inches left in there, so I didn't pull it all the way out. And I just took a cutting wheel and whacked the end of it off. That's the original end. That's the original end. Oh. And boom, just cut it off. Now, what I do is I pulled the cable back enough where I just had a little bit of cable hanging out here, so I can handle it under the car and feed it back through. I got to go back up in here and put it in the bracket. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So there's my bracket. That's my actual new adjuster. There wasn't an adjuster there from the factory, but that's where we have one here too now. But it's not really an adjuster. It just takes the slack up out of the cable in case you didn't quite get it tied up or something. But that thing is a bugger to get that cable to start. Oh, come on now. It's not easy. I'm gonna tell you that now. I cannot get the cable in. And I just had it in there. There we go. See, it just pulls out. Now what I do is this little sleeve here goes up in. Oh, look what I did. I gotta pull it all back out. I went underneath the spring. Don't do that, because if you don't want to hang it out from under the car. We got to do this all over again. Got to do it all over again. That is not easy. There we go. It went in easier that time than we did the first time. Now we're just going to slide it up in there. Then I just slide it all the way till it seats in there, and then I slide this little collar up, and it goes up in there for well, there it is. Now just pull all the slack out of it. Now you feed the cable to the front of the car. I got attached to the leaf. Y'all can't see. Sorry. Hang on. Now that I got the cable done, now I got to put this in. And that goes up in there on the other part. I'll show you. All right, now this piece goes right there. This goes in there like that. This is kind of like the factory was, except a little bit more, a little bit nicer. You know, they done this stuff back in the day to save money, but now you got extra components. I'm just gonna stick that in there for now because I don't really want to make it permanent. Now I take my cables, slide them up through here, and I keep pulling them tight. And I'll have to go back there and make sure they're all the way pulled up into the caliber. Here's the other side. The other side just goes in on the other side. There. Now, that's kind of the way the factory was. I'm not gonna lie. Except for you should have seen. I'll show you what the factory was. That was factory. Their adjuster. Check out them cable clamps. That's not original. I think the cable must have got stretched, which it probably did over time, and they put them on there. That's how that goes. Now I gotta kind of take the slack out, tighten everything up, make sure my cables are pulled tight in my calibers. And that's a emergency brake, a universal emergency brake cable from Speedway. All right, we've got the cables in. Now we're working on the brake line. Here's our rubber line going to the rear end. And now we're working on our cable soft lines to our hard line. I don't know if y'all can see that very well in here. But I have my bracket mounted to it. And what I'm gonna do is weld that to the rear end. I'm gonna weld my bracket somehow to the rear end. And then I'm gonna since I don't want to make brake lines because y'all know how double fire is. If anybody's done them, they suck. Excuse my French. So we're gonna use what line we have. We're just gonna curl them or S them or make them bend where they're neat. And I'll show you when I get done. But that's what we got. We've already got the other line run over to the other side. I'm gonna put a clamp. I'm gonna put a clamp up there in one of the cross center section bolts to hold the line in place. And that should get that. I'll show you the whole thing when we get done. All right, after realizing that there's a left and right to these calipers, thank God all we had to do was just flip them and everything still worked because we already had lines made up. You see, we already had done these and we already started these. So now I'm fixing to crawl in here and weld these. But this is where our brakes lines is going to look like. We're going to have a bracket. Fixing to weld that to there, just like that. Goes up and over. It's got a clamp in the hog's head right here. Follow down to another bracket over here. That'll be welded to the rear end. And then back to this side. And our emergency brake cables, instead of being underneath, they went on top this time. And all that still worked out good. So that is our rear brake lines. And Dad is fixing to grind so we can weld. Okay. We'll grind it. We'll put the paint on it in a minute. Alright, what you got going on here?
Grinding the axle because the collar that holds the axle in to the bearing was oblong, egg-shaped. And so when we tightened up everything, it was causing the axle to bind. So we're just taking a couple thousandths off this to make it run freely.
Yeah, all this was true, but the casting was not true. So it made it do this. So that's what he's talking about. Cool. All right, well, you got that to work on. We found that out yesterday after we was mounting the brakes up. We tightened everything up, got everything done, and we spinning the rear end. Well, this side spins freely. The other side would go a little ways and then stop, and then it wouldn't go no further. You'd go back, and it would stop, and no further. So that's when we realized what was going on. So that's all the brake stuff tore apart right there on the floor. All right, well, I guess we're going into here. Look,
Don't look at it.
don't look at it, he said. He said he ground the hole in the line. I hope not. I spent a bunch of time bending them, so we're gonna end it here with the brake lines. Y'all like, share, and all right. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. And like I said, there's gonna be many parts to this build, and I'm gonna do them in short videos, so keep y'all up to date, because as the weeks progress, things are gonna happen. Now we're again waiting for parts. So talk to y'all later.